Oh, yes. All right, we're starting off. Session 53. Ignore the 52 at the top. I'll fix that in a minute. Actually, I'll do that right now so that everyone can see it is 53. Welcome back to another episode of Shard Hunters. We are starting off beautifully. I'm just going to go ahead and turn it over to the smallest little halfling there is. Might even be a quarterling Hatalapuk.
All right, so last week we started at Eric's estate, and we found out, we had said we were in our tree. We had talked to Mr. Lakewood. He had got us in with the Adventurers Guild. That means we needed to make it to the town that they are in, and he gave us an inn through Captain Landisar, who had a special shield, and so we headed to Riven and found him, and he told us the best way into the city was through a secret door. He told us a specific time that we should try to get through that door, and told us he would have to meet us to get us through it. But he also let us know there was dangers inside the sewer area. As we moved around the city to find the doors, we began to set up camp. We found the area that was going through, and Neetup decided to mess with that and figure out the puzzle. He figured out the puzzle. And then the guards noticed because it was too early to figure out the puzzle. And so we had to run through the doors, go into it earlier than expected. And while we could have made it through nice and secretly and not alerted the nice giant creature that was inside the sewers, one of us didn't quite do stealth as well as we would have hoped, and it began to follow us through the sewer area. And we finally had to turn around and fight the giant alligator Dilophosaurus thing. And yeah, so that's the best name I'm going to give it right now. And sadly, a car is still stuck in the belly of it, and we're going to have to figure out how to get him out of it. It ran off with his body inside of it. It's a very sad, sad thing. Okay, yeah, that didn't happen. We killed the thing, and we took its head to possibly offer as a peace offering to the guards, saying that possibly we killed this thing to take care of it. And who knows? We'll see what goes as we head into the city, hopefully, without getting into too much trouble.
All right. Who wants to roll for harvesting the head correctly?
Oh, I want to.
It's probably going to be a nature roll, or possibly, well, nature is probably the best roll because you got to use nature to understand how to remove.
Ooh.
Okay, you perfectly remove the head and preserve it exactly as a taxidermist would like.
I'm act like it is no big deal whatsoever. Like I do this every day.
And while you were cleaning it, you've had plenty of time, so you also removed the claws from the fingers.
Wonderful.
We'll say that took about 30 minutes to do all the cutting because it's a very large head. All right, so it's 9:10. It's after dark, so at this point in time, there's a chance that they got captured. Where y'all are at now, you can start seeing light from the city down the tunnel.
We had looked at possibly trying to loot the lair when we left off.
Oh yeah, y'all are going to go back and try to loot the lair.
That is true.
You go back to the central room where the lair of the beast was, and you saw it was underneath the water. So how are you going to get into there?
I don't know. Do any of us have like a swim speed or a ability to
Yeah,
get in the water?
We
Well,
all have
I have
swim
a-
speeds.
I have a really slow heart rate, so I would probably use less oxygen.
We vote for a car to go in.
Kyla, you're muted if you're trying to talk.
I know.
You have
What?
water breathing.
I was thinking, Charles, do I know exactly what I got? Like, I know, but does Eve know? The boon from my deed, it says Gazra moderate boon.
Oh, you actually have the moderate boon. Yes, you can breathe underwater and gain a swim speed equal to your land speed.
So, am I going alone?
Car,
Well,
you
no one
want,
else can breathe water, so if someone else goes with you, they have to worry about breathing and not dying.
Okay, I guess
What
we'll go
about
alone.
a car? Do you want to find out if you can breathe or hold your breath longer?
I mean, at the very least, if you can't, you just get out.
Yeah.
Again.
I
He
mean,
still has the same lung capacity as normal.
Okay. It's just
okay.
his heartbeat.
Yeah, he's not actually dead. He's just mostly dead. He likes to
There are-
talk about living a lot.
Basically, there are no benefits to the situation.
Correct.
Congratulations.
That's the
Yeah.
nicest way to say you have this, but you have no benefits.
Well, at least I'm not actually dead.
Yeah, I guess that's a benefit.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's completely dark down there.
It is, so you probably want to bring a light spell with you. Well, you still have
I
it
have
on
it
your
on my
trident.
trident. Yeah.
But
So,
that means no one else has light now other than Core's.
I'll
Oh,
cast
just-
the dancing lights.
well, I'm going in the water.
All right.
Okay.
Whose birthday is it?
Bye, have fun.
You swim down into the water and you can find a small. It's like a mound of a bunch of junk that's been kind of stuck together. Some plant material, some meat material from different critters, and there's a hole in the middle of it. Fairly large because that creature was large.
I will go closer to the hole.
All right, you can see it goes in and then slopes upward. It looks like it's going into the floor.
I will keep going.
Okay. You notice that it's coming out of the water in there.
So it goes out.
Basically, it's an underwater cave.
So I can come up for air. Well, I don't need air, but there is air on the other side.
Correct.
How long did it take me to get there?
It only took about 20, 30 seconds.
Okay. I'll swim back.
All right. You come back to the surface.
Guys, I hope you can hold your breath because it's a long way to get to air. It took me a little while.
Do we need to join you?
Yeah, you can.
Is there?
Yeah,
Is
I
it,
would rather not go alone because I don't want to die.
do you have light down there?
I have it right here in my hand.
Cool. I'll follow.
Well,
you.
I think we need to do the cave diving trick and everybody tie a rope to themselves so we don't get lost.
It's
I'll
just
stay
like,
here
I
and be
can
the
follow-
anchor,
I
not
can-
getting in the water.
Things might go to plan if he stays here, so works with me.
There might be a plan. We might be able to actually accomplish a plan. Okay, so we're all going, I guess, except for Nita. Winky, are you going?
You probably don't want everyone to go.
I'll take Hatala and Core.
Okay.
Y'all want to come with me?
Sure.
Okay.
The crew.
Can you kick your little feet fast enough to keep up?
Probably not.
That's what the rope's for.
Yeah, drag me.
Well, I can stay behind you.
Um,
That's stay underwater.
something we do have these. I pull out some potions. We have some of these. We each have these potions that help us breathe underwater.
How long can you hold your breath to begin with?
I don't know. Never really tried that before. Never really tested it out.
Most people,
Oh, wait.
small, medium-sized creatures can hold their breath for at least 60 seconds.
Sorry, we don't have anything to help breathe underwater. We have something that helps us swim.
Well, because I can move faster. Should take y'all longer.
We can each drink Sea Touch elixirs. We each
Let
have
me-
one.
I'll go back down and I'll go look around again Y'all
I
stay
mean-
here.
Make sure we need to go with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll go back alone.
Okay.
Hey,
You make
you
it down there again.
have this. If you take the rope with you, you can pull it and let us know if you need help or something.
Okay.
Ugh.
I took the rope before I went.
All right. You make it back down there with the rope.
Okay. I'll go to the whole thing.
All right. You're inside again.
I also go to the air and look around.
You're now inside a cave.
Okay. I will take a look around.
Okay. Inside of this cavern, it looks like this has been the place where the creature is sleeping. There is bits of material laid out, like so it can lay down and sleep. It can bed down, and there is a lot of pieces of some of its previous victims.
Oh, great. So I can get out of the water, right?
Yes, you're out of the water in the cave. It's a large cavern.
I will go inspect the pile of stuff.
All right. Let me roll some random dice here. We're going to do 100 percentile. Eve, since you're looking, you get to call it. High or low?
Low.
Not one more. High or low?
Low.
Nope. High or low?
I'm gonna stick with low. Wow.
Nope. One more.
I'm gonna go with high because this time it's gonna be
Now
low.
it's going to roll low.
Oh my god.
Pick both.
It's fine. Whatever.
Oh, that is just
You
could
find
hide.
no treasure.
This is why I don't go places alone.
two more. A high or low?
High. It's gonna be
Hey.
Close, but not quite. Again?
high.
No, neither on that. Again? There's going to be a bunch of these, so.
Oh, okay. Low.
Nope, nothing at all. Again?
Low.
Hey, there's some. And you get one last one.
High.
All right, Eve, you see a corpse laying on the ground that has been eaten and basically gone through the animal. Because of the size of the animal, the entire corpse came out in one go.
It's like a
Have you-
giant owl pellet.
Yeah, it was swallowed whole, so. But you notice all of its ear has been shredded or dissolved except for a fairly good-looking leather collar on the neck. It's threadbare, but it does not appear to be damaged.
I'm gonna assume it's okay to touch, but I'm gonna use prestidigitation to kind of clean it up
Okay.
around, and then I'll pick it up.
All right. So you now have a collar.
Yay. I will try to identify the collar.
All right, make a crafting check or a arcana check, whichever's higher for you.
Okay.
Okay, you think you've actually heard of this before. It's something for when you have a animal companion. A collar of inconspicuousness.
Yeah.
All you know about it is that it somehow makes it so that an animal companion, if anyone looks at it, it actually looks totally harmless like a kitty cat or a puppy.
I will.
Not that anyone has an animal companion, because no one chose that path.
Is your? I'll use. I'll just go around the room again.
You're still looking though.
Is there? Oh, okay.
So pick high or low.
Oh my god. Okay.
As I say, there's going to be a lot of these.
Ooh.
Nope.
Low. No. Okay.
Again?
High.
No. Again?
Yeah. High.
No.
Okay.
One more time.
Low. It's
No. Okay.
didn't think.
So while looking around, you did manage to find some coins. Do you pile all the coins up?
Yeah.
Okay. You find about 500 coins. They're kind of dirty, so you're not exactly sure how much they are. And you find a gem on the ground. It's scattered in between the coins, but there was a gem. Right, the gem that you find is a rather large emerald.
Can I use the Techmatic to look at it?
It is not magic.
I will just pick it up with the rest.
All right. That appears to be all of real value down here.
Okay. A bunch of bodies.
Yep.
Any that have like a guard symbol stuff.
It'd be almost impossible to tell because all of them have been through the creature.
Ew.
Wonderful.
How does it
Yep.
smell down there?
Pretty
I
bad.
will swim back, I guess.
You make it back to the surface just fine.
I will share what I found with everyone except for the Emerald Gem.
Okay. Well, she pulls out a pile of about 500 coins.
I
Right.
found this.
We're starting to replenish the coffers. That's good.
When she swam out, most of the coins got cleaned up a little bit, and you can now see that it is about 500.
I also found this collar.
Hey, that's pretty cool. What does it do?
I'm pretty sure you put it on like your animal friend, like
Mhm.
your companion thing, and it makes them look harmless.
What do y'all do now?
Um,
We're gonna
right. Head for
Head
the grate. Follow the rabbit.
head towards the exit where the captain is hopefully gonna let us out, and the guards aren't gonna be pissed.
All right, you make it back to the exit area. And you can see the light of the moon from the outside. And there's also the dim light of a torch somewhere in that alley that the tour comes out at.
See, this is the time we were supposed to be here.
Can I use my bullseye lantern to kind of like flash to try and get the attention?
And you hear, "What the hell are you doing?"
We're stuck.
Why are you trying to signal someone?
I don't know. Letting you know
You
we're
did.
here.
Whisper, "Is anyone there?"
Oh,
And I'm standing right here.
ah.
Is anyone there?
Why would we whisper? You're obviously right here.
Well, thanks to that wonderful stunt you pulled, now we gotta have an excuse as to why you're here.
Well,
On the head.
did you possibly hire us to kill this giant beast under here?
You know what? I can make that work. But both of us will get in trouble, but at least that's a reasonable excuse.
That's what I was hoping for.
Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and get my captain, my lieutenant, and I'm gonna bring him here with some guards, and I'm going to demonstrate that I hired you to try to find and kill this beast that was supposedly living down underneath. There were actually some rumors about a beast down here, and now that see that head, yeah, that'll work nicely.
Sewer inspectors.
All right, I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. And probably about
Are we still locked in?
yeah,
It's
I'm
like
not
no
gonna let you
problem.
listen down.
I mean,
There's too much of an alarm to let you wander around. You'd get caught and they'd try to fight you.
I mean, we already made plenty of mistakes. I mean, by we, I mean Nita.
About 15 minutes later, he returns with 4 people. And the lieutenant's like, this had better be a darn good reason for these. And then he sees the head that you have. And he's like, oh, did you find that in there?
That was the plan.
I was in there.
Yes. Okay. Well, I would say improper form, and I'm going to have to fine you for breaking into the city, but effectively. But you've also rendered service, so can't really fault you for that. So we will make sure that you are paid the bounty you were promised.
And just take our fee out of that.
Yes, it should even itself out.
Even
Yes.
ourselves out, they promised us like 500 gold.
The captain sure as heck did not.
Okay.
He's not a landed gentry, so he can't have that kind of money. And if he does, I need to investigate him to see if he has contacts in the underworld.
No,
I mean,
he
maybe
didn't
you
offer
do,
this.
but-
He didn't offer us that. Nita appears just very greedy.
yeah,
Apologize
you're,
for his.
you're gonna get
hole
somebody
here.
else in trouble.
All right, and one of the guys comes over and makes a small incantation, and the door unlocks.
Somebody memorize that.
Did you just say that out loud?
No. No, but y'all should be smart enough to do that.
All right, so y'all come out of the sewer now, holding the head. And the lieutenant's like, all right, now I will call off this alert. For tonight, you'll need to stay under cover and try not to get in any altercations with the guards because they're still on edge tonight. So the captain will walk you towards the Adventurers Guild.
Okay.
You follow him, and it's a fairly easy trip because there's like no one out now because it apparently is around 10 o'clock at night or later. And you get to the door to the guild. A guard comes to the door. What do you want? It's late.
I would like to use my courtly graces and yes, sir. Mr. Lakewood has promised us introductions. Would you show us in?
Fine. Too late for this crud. He opens the door and he kind of gasps as he sees the head. Oh, okay. Yes, come on in. In fact, I think I have to go fetch someone. He turns to another guard there. Watch them. And he runs. A few minutes later, it took about 10 minutes, and you hear footsteps coming down the hallway. The heavy footsteps of the guard, plus the lighter footsteps of someone else. And the door opens, the guard comes in and stands at attention as a older gentleman, probably in his 80s, steps in. What is this that I have to be woken up at night? And he looks at the head. Oh my, yes. You did well, thank you. Where did you find this beast?
A better question would have been, where did we kill it? This is the monster that has been plaguing the sewers.
It is the beast in the sewers. I've heard rumors.
Yes.
And you're the ones that Lakewood sent?
Yes, sir, we are.
I'll tell you this now. I don't like you. I don't like your kind, and I think you're all way beneath me. But my dad owes Mr. Lakewood a promise, and I mean to keep it.
Very well.
But I do have to say this. I am very much interested in your beastie there. Now, I know Mr. Lakewood promised you access, and the access that he granted you should get you through our archives, because weren't you looking for books and writings and maps?
Yes. Yes, the older the better.
Correct. Now, I have a proposition. I want that head.
Hmm.
I want to add it to our reliquary. We have lots of heads of lots of beasts and other items, and we would like to put it on display here. And I figure in return for it, we will actually allow you to look through the reliquary. You cannot touch any of it, but you may look. That's something normally only allowed by direct members. Even Lakewood couldn't get in.
Is there anything we can do to gain membership? This is an adventuring guild, right? We could bring more honors and more trophies back for your glory.
The days of adventure are old and long gone.
For you though, yeah, I mean,
We
think
do
of it
not
this
have
way.
membership because there's no nobility to allow enter.
You don't need to allow the riffraff into the controlling arm of the Adventurers
Definitely
Guild.
not letting a dwarf in.
Well,
We've let you in the building. Feel lucky.
Let's just give him the head and move on.
very
Okay.
well, Hatala. We'll agree to your deal.
Just remember, you still have the claws. Just give him the head.
I'll punch a car in the stomach. Say, I know I have the claws sharp.
Very good. And he tells the guard to grab it and go ahead and immediately take it to the taxidermist.
Good. Very
Thank
well.
you very much. I actually feel a little bit better about this deal already. I was actually going to try to make sure to run you people out, but you know what? Feel free to take your time.
Very well. Do you have a?
And
It is late. Do you have a room that we could sleep in?
you're welcome to use the servants' quarters.
That'll be
There's
fine.
plenty of them.
All right.
As long as there's a doorway, we're great.
You get taken to the servants' quarters, and each servant is given a room, and they give y'all 3 rooms to use amongst y'all.
Okay.
And each of the rooms is actually the size of a small house.
Very nice.
It's a
Oh.
full. And as they are setting you in, the guard, you notice 2 of the guards set up outside the entrance to the doors, and they set up like they're waiting now. They're like, "We'll see you in the morning. We'll have fresh eyes out here by then, and we'll have someone take you to the archives. I guess that's what you're looking for, right?"
Yes. Do we want to schedule our time to view the gallery?
You can view the gallery whenever, but the archives is the thing that's going to be the most time-consuming, I imagine. I don't think many of those old stuffy types go down there anymore.
Very well.
Be on the lookout. We have a librarian, and he is a bit ornery.
Hmm.
He's not quite as old as the others, but he seems to make up for it with his crotchetiness.
Oh, it's okay. We travel with a dwarf. We're used to it.
Yes. Now, you met Sir Alfred this morning when we came in, correct?
Yes.
Is that the
All right,
guy
now-
that?
He is one of the younger members of the Adventurers Guild.
Are they all humans, or are there any old elves or other races?
I believe they are all human, unless they're lying.
Hmm.
There may be a half in there somewhere, but they don't show.
Understandable.
In fact, you know what? Now that you think of it, I'm pretty sure. Yes, Lord Diamond, he must be a half-elf. I believe he's about 115, and still fairly spry. What do y'all do now that y'all have quarters?
So I'll go in one of the rooms and I'll say, well, good night, and then I'll shut the door so that I'm sleeping in one of the rooms by myself.
Okay. Y'all sleep in the rooms or in the tree?
The rooms.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not gonna do any traveling right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
You want the
same.
ladies in one of the other rooms and the rest of you guys in the other room?
That's
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely be grumbling about why Core got his own room, but
good.
yeah.
Okay. Y'all managed to sleep through the night without any major problems. Y'all awake in the morning to the sound of rain outside. And it's a nice cold day. But the rooms you're in are actually very nicely warm, even though you don't see any fires.
I'll get up and get dressed and go meet up with the others, and we'll gather together in one room. As I'm doing
As
that,
you're going to the room, you hear the guard outside. Morning. Breakfast will be served in the room, in the hall.
We should definitely
thank you for
join
that
them for
information.
breakfast.
Uh, let me just gather the rest of my party, and we'll let you escort us.
No problem.
As we get alone in the room, I'm gonna get real close to Cora and go, "What the heck are you doing?
What are you talking about? What's the matter?
What? Suddenly you have an accent, and what is this?"
This is courtly graces. This is how you act. Have you never been around nobility before?
I didn't know that it changed my accent.
Yes, it does.
I'm just checking.
Okay.
It's okay.
All right.
Okay.
The guard leads you to a large chamber, and then past it to a smaller chamber that is still large. It probably seats about 20 or 30 people, but the large chamber you just passed probably seats about 100 and is an immensely high value construction. And the one he leads y'all into is still fine construction, but ordinary. All right, this is the servant hall, and the other servants will be bringing in the food shortly, and enjoy. It's not much, but it's a good meal.
Thank you.
And they stand at the door, and servants come in and set down a proper breakfast in front of every person. There's some hesitation when they're putting the food in front of the dwarf, though.
Don't worry, he won't bite hard.
Allah. Well,
Well, mainly we're just concerned we've never fed a dwarf before, so we don't know if he'll like the breakfast.
is it meat? If it's
Yes, there's some meat. I
Okay.
can bring them all.
meat, that would probably be well.
He also likes cheese.
No problem. And one of them scurries off, and a few minutes later comes back with a tray with a double helping of bacon and sausage and a hunk of cheese.
Just perceiving, do these servants seem like they're like fed well, taken care of? I know their quarters seemed pretty good, so
Yes, the meal that they bring to you is at least as fine as any of the food you find in the tree.
interesting. But they look like they're taken care of too. Like,
Yes,
And-
this is where they eat.
oh, I got you. Okay. Interesting.
So, as you're sitting there, you see one of them go by because this area borders onto the actual kitchen where it's cooking, so you can see and hear the kitchen. One person comes out with an expensive decanter of wine and a very fine breakfast going to the other room.
Need up, stay in your chair.
Okay.
It's probably just wine, dude. It's you don't really like that, do you?
Now,
There's-
you generally don't prefer elvish stuff.
No, it's like grape juice. I'm good.
I just figured the nicer something looked, you'd probably jump after it.
Or try to take the actual decanter and pour out the wine.
That
wait
might
till it's
actually be a
empty.
little more likely.
I just wait till it's empty and slip it into my bag.
Okay. Y'all eat your breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take long, but it actually is a really good meal. The quality of everything in here is well above what you expected. And the guards are like, all right, don't want to rush you or anything, but can we go ahead and get to the library? I would like to get on with my duties.
Oh, we agree. Let's move on. Thank you.
And they lead you down a couple flights of stairs to a basement area. And then to a big set of double doors that are iron bound and with a big impressive lock on it. And inside there's another set of guards the guards who are with you pass you off and then go back to their duties.
Hopefully they can get some sleep at some point.
Well, it is a different set of guards than the night before.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, they told us it'd be different ones.
Okay.
There's a lot of guards in here.
You're down in the library section, and you notice that there are rows and rows of shelves, and this room is probably about 50 feet across and probably about 100 feet deep, with ceilings about 20 feet high, and the shelves go up to about 15 feet.
Oof. Okay. It's a lot of books.
And then there on each major row of shelves, there's one rolly ladder on each side.
Need to find the oldest and dustiest books.
Well, we could just look for the librarian.
Books. You can see in the distance there's clay tablets, there's scrolls, there's parchment, there's actual books. You even think you may see one or two of those dwarven tubes.
That's. Do they have a reading apparatus for
You
those?
do not see one anywhere.
If push come to shove, if they can't read those things, we could always offer the ability to have them translated. Because we can't.
Mm-hmm.
Just
So
put
what do
that
you
in
do?
our back pocket.
Do we see the librarian anywhere around?
You do not see them, or in fact, you don't see anyone but the guards at the entrance. When you look into this room, imagine like when you're looking out through Warehouse 13.
Mm.
Ah, okay.
It's just vaulted ceilings, lights everywhere, magical lights everywhere. It looks like maybe 50 years ago, this place probably would have been busy. But right now, there's a thick layer of dust everywhere as everything is falling to disuse and disrepair. Everything's immaculately maintained,
Alright.
equipment-wise, but all the stuff on the shelves is starting to get old.
I'd like to ask the guard, has the librarian already come in this morning?
He pretty much never leaves. I think he has a house somewhere in here. I'm not certain. I don't ever see him go anywhere.
Okay.
He's an eccentric one. We generally try to stay out of his way.
Alright.
Alright,
Can
I'll
I tell if there's any kind of organization to the books?
Make a whatever it is you check for reading books. I can't remember off the top of my head. Is it
I
society?
think it's
Society.
society that he's been doing.
I think that's what you've been rolling.
It's the Dewey Decimal System.
Dewey doesn't exist in this.
All right.
How do
From
you
your
know?
From your best understanding,
The Huey.
the shelves are arranged in a fairly odd system. The lowest shelves appear to be writings that are in common. The next 5 feet of shelves are writings that are in a known but esoteric language, like, Elvish, Dwarvish, one of the other languages that most people would know. And the top 5 feet are languages that are either lost, unknown, or rare.
Okay.
There seems to be some more organization here, but you couldn't quite figure it out from your first examination.
Okay.
Core, do you have a place you think we should look? Because I don't want to sit here and do nothing.
Well, we can look for the librarian.
I'll go find him.
I'm thinking about running up to the top of the ladder and just kind of scooting down and trying to browse the spines for any Kaminoan or ancient that might stick out.
I think our best bet's going to be finding a librarian.
Yeah.
Potentially
The-
getting some assistance.
The commons on the bottom, Elvish and other languages are kind of in the middle, and the weirder stuff's towards the top.
As Cora gets to the top of the ladder, I'm just going to slide him down the road until he says stop. So you can just kind of quick glance,
Can I, before getting up there, do we have some like? Can I write down some Kaminoan, like some of the words or symbols, maybe some of the ancient, if we have any. Like this is what it looks like. This is kind of the. We may have some
The
stuff in
writing
common
structure.
also, like history of the ancients. If we could find that book, that would work out too.
Right. So you're passing to us what this looks like, so we can look around. All right.
Yes.
I mean, the most I'm probably going to be able to do is look at the common area books. Not very tall over here.
All right.
Well, if you're on the same ladder, we all kind of like roll down. But
That's-
Eve,
yeah,
Eve and
I
I can look at
And
the
I'll
Elvish.
kind of lean in closely to Hatala
I know Elven.
and
I know quite a bit of
whisper
languages.
and kind of whisper to Hatala. You notice that guard's kind of staring at us pretty intently. I don't know if you saw that or not. Guards, do you have any other ideas on how this library is set up?
One of the guards is like, don't expect us to do your work for you just because you had someone pull strings and get you in here.
You do realize we have strings that we can pull. Do you want to continue talking like this?
And the other guard, the guard that you noticed,
Mhm.
is like, you can see he looks very unhappy with what you said, and he's like, yeah, like your strings matter. You got in, but you can't go anywhere else. We've been told to watch you, not guard this place.
As we walk away from the guards, I want to go, nice pants. Just keep walking.
Oh,
I
no.
guess.
All right.
See
fine.
if it-
Let's not have hostilities. Let's get on
Well,
with
that's
our
not
business
hostility.
so
I
we
told
can
them
get
they
out
had
of
nice
here.
pants. I told them they had nice pants.
I know you like pants.
I'll go with Neetup to try to find the library.
All right. I'll tell you, I would like to split up groups. And I would like, Hatala, would you take one group and I'll take another? And I'll also kind of whisper to Hatala, like, hey, that one guard that was staring at us earlier is looking kind of sad. If we split up, we may be able to split up the guards and maybe we can talk to him, whichever group he follows.
I don't know what y'all are saying, but she's really short, so when you whisper, we can all tell.
Cool. I mean, it's just low enough that
You have to tie your shoe, Cor. Hey, your shoe's untied.
my boot.
Your boots with no boot laces.
Yeah, your buckle there, it's a little loose. It's looking
I
like it's
gotcha.
yeah.
All right.
I'm just gonna stand in here like, what?
Fine.
heck?
Let's just. Look, we're doing a lot. Let's look for some books. We can get two teams going. We can send one team to look for the librarian.
I'm
maybe.
gonna join Neetup and Eve
Okay.
looking for the library.
The older mean guard is following Kor and his friends,
Okay.
and the younger guard is following Hatala. And
All right, let's get this done. Cor, get up the ladder. Go. I'm gonna push.
All right. I'm gonna start looking through books at the
Alright.
higher shelves.
So as I'm walking with this group, I'm gonna turn towards the guard and be like, so how do you enjoy your job here?
what? Me? I've always wanted to be here, but you know, I'm a guard, so it's as best I can get. They don't
Oh,
let
were
anyone anymore.
So you were trying to join the guild?
Always wanted to since I was a child. I read all their stories.
Yeah, when we heard about it, we tried to join as well, but they definitely didn't let us in. I'm sure
I
you
didn't-
can understand.
Single non-human here.
What's this guy's race?
Human.
Oh,
He just said he doesn't think there's a single non-human here.
I couldn't hear. It garbled right before you said it, so I thought you said I'm the only non-human here when you said it. So all right. Yeah,
Group has
you know,
names.
we've been adventuring for a while now and been doing quite well at it. So we thought when we heard of the Adventurers Guild, it was a perfect fit. But it clearly isn't what we thought it was.
Yeah. The things I've read about in here, it's kind of scary. Some of the things that those guys went against.
So they were pretty special in their heyday, huh?
Oh yeah. In the heyday, there was probably about 100 of them. I think there's only about 15 left now. I think they're
I
just
mean,
waiting for the last of them to die out.
you think the guild will just go into oblivion after that, or is
There's
somebody
some
just gonna...
talk they may be trying to do a museum or something. If not, I think it'll go back to the king.
Interesting.
The king is an honorary member because his grandfather started the guild.
That makes sense. So you guys are just
The only adventuring the king has ever done is to go and hunt something in the woods.
right. Have you ever been in this library before?
This is where I'm stationed. I'm here every day,
Ah, you
all
ever
day.
done? You've did. So you said you've done a lot of reading in here.
Oh yeah, I think probably in the last 15 years I've read most everything in here, at least that I can read.
Right, right. So some of this stuff is
Yeah,
definitely
okay.
harder to read. Uh, have you heard of any like ancient sites or anything like or what we've heard of is called like Titans? You read about any of those?
I don't know if I've heard anything about Titans, but if you're talking about like ruins, you might want to go look in the category. They have a big, they call it category of interesting places. It's like a big book that someone compiled of all the interesting places they found, and where in the library you can find the information on each. It's a
Interesting.
catalog. That's what it's called, a catalog.
So there's a catalog in the library?
There's several. They got catalogs of all kinds. The
Oh,
librarian is kind of uptight about trying to keep it organized, even though it's his own system and no one really understands what it is. But that catalog book usually helps with everything. Well, let's say I think there's about 5 of them that I know of. There may be more, but I haven't read every single book.
do you have any tips for being on the good side of the librarian?
I would recommend not ever talking to him.
So,
Last time I talked with him, I was out in toilet duty for a week because I accidentally mentioned that I've read books in here.
I see.
A boy?
His opinion, all the books are his and no one else's.
I think we should circle back to Core and the others, give them the information this very, very strapping and helpful young person has given us.
He can
Um,
show you around the library then. He said
Hmm?
he's read stuff.
Say that again.
He's read stuff. He can show us where to go.
Well, he's
Sure.
gonna. I mean, are you willing to show us where these catalogs are?
Sure.
I think we should have the rest of the group with us if possible. Core would be much more apt to finding what we're looking for. We in
Okay.
agreement with that? All right, so we're gonna head back to Core and the others.
You find them, they haven't gone very far because they're just rolling slowly down the aisles.
Okay, as we get to Core, want to say, hey, Core, there's catalogs or things in the library to help us find things.
Wonderful. This is the crummiest idea I've had. Thank you.
Yeah, if you can kind of bring us along. We'll see if we can get to those. And there's a category of a catalog of interesting places we might want to check to be
Okay.
able to find some of those ruins we've been looking for. And we've also, if we do find the librarian, he is very possessive of the books, so we might not want to engage very much.
Okay.
When,
But,
when you join the rest of the group, the young guard is not talking to them anymore.
What I want to do is I'm going to kind of like get in step, like behind that young guard, so that it looks like I'm just heading us to that place, but I'm going to let him lead.
He takes you about 2 aisles over and down about 2 of the shelves, and then he points to a large book that is hand bound, but it's a loose bounded book with string binding so that you can add pages.
I'd like to try to take a look through this book.
All right, it's in common, so it's easy to read.
Oh, good.
And you can tell that there's currently about 100 pages in the book. And each page is about, their pages front and back, and each facing of the page probably has about 5 places listed with a short, like blurb style description of each. Whatever they name it, the nickname, a little blurb about it, and then a weird numbering.
Okay. With the numbering, can I associate that with an aisle or a height or?
Make a society check again. Right, with the extra information you found, you're about 75% certain that you can find any reference. All right. As you look at the places of interest, you notice about half of them are obviously not interesting places, things that from the sound of it, they, this place was leveled, this place was lost in a flood, this place was destroyed by fire, things like that, or city was built here, town was built here, war was fought here, things like that. But of those, you can find a good collection of places that seem like they might be interesting. These are in no specific order. One of them, they call it Northern Hill. It is in the Stone Giant country, and there is an old ruined tower that was explored by the guild long ago. Then there's one in the northern. There's a northern desert kingdom of Orm, sorry, and in it there are many ruins, towns, forts, and towers. The only thing you note in the little blurb about it is that they estimate that the kingdom itself was probably around 1,000 to 1,500 years old. That's how long ago it disappeared. Then there is something they call the Fortress of Libolita. It is a black edifice of stone made of black basalt that was consumed by a fire long ago. The guild did find the entrance, but there's so much fire that no one could enter because the place permanently burns. And the only note they had is be careful for fire creatures living in the fire. Then the next note of interest is something called the Ruins of Mezabin. It is an ancient city that was massacred long ago. Then the Ruins of Olat, which was an old Kiminoan outpost. It is rumored, but they don't know exactly where that one is, but there is a marking, so that means that there is a book that details something about it. You find a marking that has a bunch of question marks next to it that says, Ruins underneath Riven. Supposedly a tower fell down and sunk into the ground long ago, but no one knows where. Then you find a note of the Ruins of Caledon, which was an unknown ancient people's bastion in disrepair that had been occupied by both the ancients and the Kiminoans throughout time. There were many rumors of it, secondhand accounts and things like that, but no one ever found the exact location. Then there is the Ruins of Chris, which was reported by an explorer from the guild who found the entrance but was chased out by the monsters that lived there in the eastern lands past the rivers where all the destruction is. Then there's the town of Azerboa, which used to be a lich's base that was raided by the guild long ago. And the lich was laid to rest by the guild. Then there is the Tower of Ubeleta, which was a wizard's tower that was destroyed and sunk beneath a river long ago. No one knows exactly where, but said to be underneath some sewers. And you're noticing some of these things might be talking about the same place because some of these things are rumors, some of these things are other things, but it looks like some of these words have been written as far apart as 50 years or more. Then there's something about a fortress that was supposedly called Koloban, and it was an ancient fortress in the deep south that was in some hill lands in the southern kingdom. It has occasionally been home to monsters and other groups, but has been in basically no one's hand for centuries. And the next one, Winky recognizes. It's the town of Glyphoran, which is a gnomish city that he has been to once when he was young. The city was supposedly a Kiminoan outpost, but no one knows exactly where in it the Kiminoan ruins are because the gnomes were never interested in that. Then there is a rumor of a valley called the Valley of Midoa, which supposedly a giant battle took place. And the battle, the notes say the battle took place around 2,000 years ago, most likely due to the ancients fighting some great enemy. Then there's the ruins of Cephia, an ancient former colony. In the later days of the empire, they had tried to start a new city to keep their people alive, but it immediately vanished overnight and was never heard from again. And there are many others, but those are the ones that seem the most credible and the most important.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I got lost.
Car, come back to us. Your eyes glazed over.
All right, sorry guys, I'm not the best at.
I feel like.
Well, remember, those that you found were the only ones that seemed of interest.
Right.
Okay, so what do you start on first?
Caliban? The deep south?
Koloban.
Kolaban?
K-H-O, like Coles.
Okay.
Yes, you get an approximate location. It's at the southernmost extremity of the southern kingdom when it starts getting into the hills near where the river ends.
Okay. We're gonna check out the Tower of Obalita. Is that the one, the tower that's under the river, maybe in the sewer?
Yes.
Oberyn,
You
yeah.
find a entry on it, and in it is a book of an account of a adventurer who spent his life trying to find that tower. Talking about all the places he looked, all the places he tried, the rumors he found, and mostly the book is a collection of vague rumors and ideas that he had for finding the location, but he never could find it.
Okay. I think from there we want to jump down to the ruins under Riven.
Okay. You get to the book describing it, and you notice that it actually is spelled differently than Riven.
Okay.
It looks like that may have been a translation error when they were putting it in the catalog. It looks like Riven because it's translated from a word in another language that is similar to Riven, but it's actually not Riven.
Oh.
Am I able to figure out what that word is or what language it was in previously?
No, you can't. It's something you've never heard of. All you can tell is in that book, it's talking about a squad of adventurers who found his ruin, went into it, wiped out all the monsters that were inside, and brought back trophies.
Do we want to try for the Fortress of Little Lita? The Black Basalt
Yeah.
Tower?
Yeah.
Okay. You find a description of the approximate location and the path one has to take to get there, that it's only accessible from a single direction along the coast.
Can we tell if it's in the north or south or middle kingdoms?
Most of these are somewhere in the south, somewhere in the center region around this center area. Because the guild they ignored borders and went wherever they needed to go.
Okay.
What about the ruins of Alat? The Kaminoan outpost mentioned specifically there was a book somewhere on it.
The ruins of Alat. You find a book that talks about it. It is mostly a book talking about rumors, but there is one account of a adventurer, not part of the Adventurers Guild, just a guy who was an adventurer, and his team that supposedly stumbled upon the ruins themselves and only managed to escape without being killed, but they wrote about their approximate location because it wasn't an exact location.
I'd like to try
What
for
next?
Valley of Midela. This is one of should be around the ancients. Battle of the Ancients.
Okay. It is a listing of interviews and rumors, and one even account of a traveler who supposedly got lost on a dark night and was accosted by the undead in a valley. And it gives several slightly conflicting accounts, but it does generally spell out a region of the world that you should look at.
Okay. All right. Let's go check out the northern desert of Orm.
All right. This one is easy. Almost everyone here has heard about the ancient ruins in the desert, but no one knows anything about them. But the guild has actually sponsored expeditions into the desert to try to find some of the ruins. There is a ring of mountains around a desert to the north, just above this kingdom, that is in the middle of the northern kingdom. Basically, it's a wasteland that used to be verdant, and something has cursed it to now be a permanent desert. And based on the book that you find, there's at least stories of 2 or 3 towers, maybe an old town or a fort, and saying that there was much, much more to be found there. And no one knows exactly who they were, but again, it's somewhere around 1200 to 2500 years ago.
It just jumped up. It was 1,000 to 1,500 earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you look through the book, there's a little, based on some of the things y'all know of, you can push the date back a little further.
Okay.
The person who wrote the entry was not aware of some of the things y'all know of.
So 2,000 to, what was the new dates?
2000 to 2500.
Okay, so jumped to 1,000, right.
The ruins of Kelamanon. It was the Kaminoan ruins. It was the one before Chris.
I've got so much text now, it's hard for me to
Caledon.
find them. Yeah, ruins of Caledon, ancient peoples, Bastion, ancients and
Yes.
Kiminolans never found exact location.
It is a book that one of the Adventurers Guild discovered in a ruin somewhere else, made mention of a city called Caledon that was a city that had been, or a bastion with a city around it, that had been conquered by the ancients and then conquered again by the Kaminoans and then lost to time. But the ancients had to take it from another people who had already occupied it. and no one's sure who exactly that was. But the book was from this apparently from the standpoint of a Keminoan trader who took that book information with him and wrote into the book about his journeys.
Do we get any kind of rumored locations or
Yes,
a
it basically
detailed map of exactly where it's at?
no, none of that.
Oh,
But a approximate region of the world
okay.
that you can basically narrow it down to.
Let's look for the town of Glypherin, the gnomish city that Winky knows.
Yes. This one is a little bit more obvious. It is an exactly well-known city that you can just get directions and go there. But if you don't have a gnome amongst you, it's hard to get anywhere in the city because the gnomes are very secretive about letting people into the core of their cities. And supposedly, within that city itself, the city's been around long enough that it used to be a Kaminoan outpost.
Okay. I want to jump
And
up.
it-
Oh, go ahead.
And the writing you find talked about a book about a gnomish tinkerer who basically spent a large portion of his lifetime playing with the things he found in the outpost and trying to create new devices to give to the world.
Okay. Northern Hill, the stone giant area. Since we've run into a stone giant, that seems of import.
Yes, this is one of the they actually should basically give you a local map of once you get into the region you can find exactly how to do it, and if you take a crafting check you can copy that map down. But it was a old ruined tower that was probably some form of wizard's tower that a tribe of stone giants was living in the vicinity of, and they considered it to be a dark place and discouraged people from going. But with the help of the Adventurers Guild, they did broker a deal because the stone giants in that area are well known for their hospitality. That if you operate in a preferential trade to them, they'll happily allow you to do most anything you want as long as you are being fair to them in trade.
Tala, your drawing does not look anything like this map.
Do you want me to try it again?
Yes, please. Can you? You're not. I don't know how you remember a door from 5 months ago, but you can't draw a map
Look,
you're
I think
staring
it's
at.
this. I think it's the stress of the librarian walking up at any moment. Let me just take a deep breath, relax. I'll try again.
You managed to make a crude but useful map.
Ruins of Mesabine.
Okay.
Zoberanzen.
You find an account of a group of adventurers who, while chasing a beast that they were trying to add to the reliquary, they managed to stumble upon a ruin that the only thing they could tell was everyone in the city was massacred in a very short time period because it is littered with corpses. And it creeped them out enough, and their quarry was escaping, so they had to run away immediately. But they did mark what they had on their really cruddily made map of their journeys.
You want to try doing?
It's tried to copy it, you could, but you can tell based on looking at it that they've already made some mistakes with their map.
Let's try and get what we can from the map. If you want to do that while I move to the next book.
Another crafting.
Yep.
I think we're gonna go for Chris next.
You make a serviceable map out of what they had. All right. As you're reading it's a diary that you found that apparently belonged to one of the lords who was a member of the guild, about how he crossed the river to the Eastlands, to the very dangerous area that you were always told never go to the Eastlands, and he found a city that used to be near the main Diamond Lake. And it's not too far from the lake, actually, and he managed to successfully make it into this city, but then his favor turned bad, weather turned even worse, and he had to hightail it back home before he could do much in the city. And he got sick from the journey, and so he died not long after returning. And no one ever decided to go back because of how dangerous the area was. Because this was in the later years. This probably was only about 30 or 40 years ago. He was probably the last of the young ones.
Town of Azerboa.
As y'all are going for the books, you hear ahem.
Yes, hello.
What exactly are you doing in my library?
We were given access.
I did not give you access.
We looked for you.
Did you have any? You have these dwarven cylinders that I saw on the ground. Are you able to access those?
The pretty metal tubes?
Yes, those pretty metal tubes. Did you know that they have writing in them?
What do you mean, they have writing in them? They have markings on them. We thought they were ornamental.
No. Actually, one of the things that we've learned in our travels is that those actually contain a lot of information within them, and we are able to transcribe them and we could give you a book of what they say.
I'm not letting you take my tubes.
Well, they have to use a device for them to be activated. Maybe we can come up with a way for you to bring them yourself and check them, if that would be more to your favor.
Device to open them. You know what? That actually makes a lot of sense. Hold on, and he scurries off real quick. You can hear him rummaging through books in a different aisle.
Tower of Azuraban.
You are at the area where the book was.
Yep. I'll go ahead and keep reading.
All right, you find a guild journal that was talking about how the guild amassed, sent all of its forces against the Tower of Azerboa, where a lich lived and was causing trouble for the surrounding countryside. And basically, they managed to battle through the lich's hordes, find the lich, kill him, destroy his phylactery, and banish him forever. They managed to keep a few of his trinkets and oddities and a couple of his minions to be added to the reliquary. And other than that, the tower was then razed. The guy comes rummaging back. Okay. Now, does it look a bit like a lectern?
Kind of like a table, yeah, if that's what you're meaning. A table with like a slot, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Hold on. He's like, he looks over at the guard. You're in here a lot. I don't like it. Come here. He starts whispering something to his ears. Guy's like, and he goes running off.
Is the librarian still with us?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, now we will stay here and wait for him. And he immediately grabs a ladder, scrolls, moves it down a little bit, climbs up, and grabs one of the tubes. He comes scurrying down the ladder, and finally the guard comes back with a lectern that looks a lot like the one you had in the underground basement.
Ah, yes, this is actually exactly what we have.
I always thought this was just some useless piece of junk they stored down here.
Well, I'm glad we were able to enlighten you.
So, all right, show me how this works.
All right, I will walk him through the process on how the thing attaches to it and how it works.
Once you open it and show him how to scroll through it, he immediately scrolls it back, takes it out, talks to the guard, and they both run off together.
So, Cephia?
You make it to the section on Cephia. In it is a description from a caravan of traders who was on a road between two known cities back in the waning days of the Empire of the Ancients. And it is an account of them finding a city that had sprung up overnight, where a group of ancients had brought two of their airships in and managed to create a new colony with many of their children and younglings from their cities that they had to abandon at the end of their empire when they were under pressure from all sides, and they were trying to make a new town. And then it talked about how they continued on their way, went around the region, came back, visited them one more time. Basically, they were doing a big circle, and the third time through, the town was just gone. Everyone disappeared. There was some structures left, but it looks like they went underground, and no one ever heard from them again.
All right.
I-
So did we have the location for that one though? It seemed like that was fairly.
Based on the description, you have an idea of the area they were traveling through. You don't know where the city was, but you know their route.
Okay. I think. Did I miss any?
That should be all of it.
I got
I've
all the notes.
I've been
down,
marking
so
them off
we're
as you went through one.
Yeah,
obviously.
that was all of them.
So we'll wait patiently by the lectern for the librarian innocently.
No, he left with the lectern.
Oh, he
Yeah,
left
he
with the
took it.
Uh,
We're either gonna get heavily thanked or we're about to get kicked out of here.
Can we go find them?
You don't see anyone. All you see is the one guard that's left.
Is it the younger one or the angry one?
The older one, the mean one.
Because the librarian's using the younger one.
Yep.
Well, I think we've got quite a bit of information out of this. I hope you enjoyed your time.
Y'all ready to leave?
Leave the library.
And unless the librarian needs us for a reason,
I don't think we're going to see him for another week or so.
he's already going to be studying them. I see.
All right, sure. I'll take you to the entrance. He gets to the entrance and he opens the door, and one of the guards is waiting.
Good
Well
morning.
done.
For now, we'd like to maybe take a walk through the reliquary.
Oh
That's
yeah,
all.
I was told you were allowed to go there. Strange. That's fine. That's fine. Let's go.
Thank you.
Y'all make it through the tower and through the building and winding paths and through back alleys because they don't want you to go through the main entrances and everything like that until you make it to what basically looks like a museum. You can see basically taxidermied monsters, pieces of monsters, gear that have been up on walls. Some of it, obviously nothing but crud. Some of it, it's probably magical here and there too. There's a good bit of history and value on these walls. And you can count at least 4 or 5 exotic beasts that have been mounted here. In fact, in one corner of the room, they have a full-size T-Rex that has been stuffed. You notice that there are about 3 or 4 old men wandering around the room, too.
Well, as we're continuing to look around, specifically want to see if we're finding anything that was mentioned in the books, the stuff that was brought back by the squad from the thing that were beneath the place that was not Riven, but kind of. And there was one other, I can't remember what it was, but
You can definitely find stuff from the Lich.
The Azaboa.
You can see in the Lich's Tower, they brought back the head of a vampire. They brought back the Lich's crown, and which is a broken phylacterate. They brought all the pieces back so they could put it on display for the Lich, and someone made a very high quality sketch of what the Lich looked like.
Any chance it looks anything like the one that we fought?
No.
Any Kaminoan features, or is this even? Can we tell anything about him?
Make a perception check, Will. 4. You notice that it does have Kaminoan writing on a necklace.
Can I focus in on that? Try to make out what it says.
Make
What was it again?
perception.
Perception. Sorry, it was it broke up right as you were saying it. Oh, these rolls tonight. At least they're not
As
ones.
far as you can tell, it may be a name, but it's not anything that's directly translatable. It's
Okay.
not like word.
Okay.
So it looks like he may be a Kaminoan Lich.
All right. I pass that information on. Is there anything else that kind of stands out that we should be picking up on?
You notice a couple things that look interesting. Nothing really specific. You've even seen some of the creatures in this room. You fought a couple of them. You do notice there is a fairly large piece of gray crystal inside of a glass case.
Does it have any a plate or anything describing what it is?
It has gilded, basically skull and crossbones on it.
Does
And
it
it is
look-
locked with 3 different padlocks.
Does it look like the death stones that we've seen?
It looks like Quilala stones, but a large chunk of it.
Just chilling here in a glass case.
Multiple locks, warnings around it, and you see the warning. Actually, as you look, you notice there's warnings probably in 6 different languages to not touch.
I'm gonna start reaching out to touch it, and
I'm gonna
kinda
slap his hand.
It's all act. I'm gonna start reaching out for it, and then
I'm gonna slap his hand
Loud-
again.
loudly go, "What's in this thing?" So everybody in the room,
No.
including the old guys wandering around, can hear me.
I walk
One of
away from him.
Then one of the old men looks over and says, "You know, that's not fooling anyone, you idiot."
Well, instead of just standing there, you want to tell me about this thing?
Well, I'm pretty sure you know, considering how much your friends were slapping you away. I believe they're called Quilala stones.
Yeah. What you know about them?
Not much personally. I didn't find this piece. I believe that would have been a generation ago. I don't even remember who found it. All I know is they lost 2 of them before they realized don't touch it.
Do you know the region it was found in?
I believe this was brought into a marketplace
Okay.
in a treasure chest. Apparently with a load of random coins and gems and other things, and a merchant tried to pick it up, and then a jeweler tried to pick it up.
Like, physically tried to pick it up?
Yep.
Oh boy. Sure that didn't go well.
No, it did not. I believe, if memory serves me, the jeweler had to be executed by the town guard, and the merchant threw himself off the battlements.
Sounds accurate. Yes.
Yeah, something to do with befuddling the mind, or maybe some evil presence within. We're not sure exactly, but we do know don't touch.
Yes. It's an extremely evil presence within it. In fact,
If I could, is there like want to insight this person and see, like, do they seem like there's someone who, if we told them what this really is and how it connects to what's going on in the world, that it would be beneficial? Or would it be hindering of the situation? I know that's gonna be difficult.
What do you mean?
I don't want to tell him if this is connected. If he seems to be a snobby rich jerk, but if he seems to be a honest, caring person, which he seems to be to me, basically, I would like him to know this information.
These snobby rich jerks are people too.
Right, but they don't do good things with information they have.
All you can tell from him is he has the look that he used to be a warrior.
Okay.
He used to be disciplined. Basically, he looks like Core would look in 50 years.
Okay, I'm telling him. I'm gonna explain to him how the Quella stones and what in a basic information, not heavily detailed because I don't want to get into that, but a basic information of how the Quella stones and what we've learned on how they are connected to these creatures that are being birthed out of the cults and cultists, and that's a part of what is happening with this plague and how that connects to the situation.
When you finish your story, he has been in rapt attention the whole time. He's like, amazing. You know? And did you explain to him how demonic energy prevents that?
Yes.
He's like, you know what? He taps the glass. That's probably why this glass works so well. This is the 4th display cage we've had this thing under. We've had 2 guards start to want to touch this really bad. I mean, to the point of we had them chained up and they were trying to break through the chains to get to it. When we put it in this glass, we've never had that problem again. This glass here is made out of a special sand that was found near the remains of an old demon portal.
Interesting.
Apparently, the energy from the netherworld had spilled out around it over the years and converted the sand into something different, and some artisan decided to make special glass out of it. And as a whim, one of our previous lords decided to spare no expenses and make a fancy cage. Twit. But the cage did manage to work because it's fairly break resistant. We didn't want anyone accidentally bumping into it. That was our only thought. But once we put it in there, it stopped tempting people.
Are you one of the caretakers of this museum, or do you just partake within the guild?
Oh, back in my day, I added many a thing to this room.
Am I getting any kind of vibe that maybe he was one of the writers of any of the books that we read through?
You'd have to ask him more specifically or interact with him more because you don't know.
Okay.
Basically, he just said that he loved bringing things to the guild.
I want to know what his prize catch was.
My prize catch? Well, my life's ambition is to find that stupid tower, but I've never been able to find it.
Which tower are you?
Really?
speaking of?
The one that's supposedly in the dang sewers underneath this town.
Oh. Wait a second.
We might be able to be commissioned into finding it for you. You know.
Well, the problem is that the Riven was the Riven was the wrong Riven. Oh, I'm reading right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just mistranslated.
Yeah, when we looked over the notes on that, it looked like Riven may have been mistranslated. Not sure what that would mean to you.
What means mistranslated? You're not talking about the Rivia.
I think I am talking about the Rivia.
No, that was a tower. It was raided by our guild, wasn't it? Hold on, let me try to remember. It's been so long.
It was cleared by monsters by a squad, and they brought back trophies.
Oh,
And
yes. That was my father's team. He did that. But no, that was not here in town. That was
Are you referring
it was
to?
at a fork in the river. And basically, the name translated from some local dialect of some critter meant river fork.
So there was that location, and you're saying there's still a tower underneath the sewers here.
Yes. Wait, have y'all been down in the archives?
We have.
Yes, we were given access.
I did not put down that it was in town. I said it was under a sewer, under the river. Because I didn't want any of my idiot friends saying they found it.
Oh, that was the Tower of Obira. Wizard Tower under sewers. Account of adventurer looked this but never found it.
Mhm.
This is this guy.
Yep.
I got you.
He did import it into purposeful misinformation to make sure no other guild member could get a leg up on him in finding it.
Are there still other? You mentioned there were 3 in her earlier. Is it just him that we're talking to, or there's other guys around still?
One of the old men is actually scoffing that one of them was talking to commoners. And another guy is basically wandering around with a diminished gleamer in his eyes, like he may remember something that's going on, but he mostly walks around trying to get a brain cell to fire.
Poor guy.
Poor thing.
Like occasionally he'll stop it, look something, and almost like a glimmer, like he can remember.
Oh, dementia.
As you notice, the guy you're talking to is the youngest of them, and he's probably 90.
hmm
Uh,
So you're saying that your greatest thing would be to have found this
Oh,
tower.
yeah. My father tried to find it, and he told me all about it when I was a child. Supposedly, his great-grandfather had actually been in the place before it sank.
well, we may have been in it after it sank.
Just yesterday.
What? Is that close?
Possibly. We didn't really have time to take a look at it because we were being chased by a giant alligator thing.
Oh, that beast is real?
Yes.
I
It is.
heard just
It is.
Well,
you.
it was.
We had to take it on for the safety of the town.
Yes, I heard Lord Alfred commissioned its destruction.
Yes, and he now has the head. I believe it will find itself up here soon.
Impressive. So it was a alligator or something?
Something like that. I couldn't tell you exactly what it was called, but it was very, very large. Looked something like a alligator or crocodile type creature.
About 20 feet
Around
long.
20. What was that?
It was a dinosaur. Apparently, it's called a Diosaka. Yes, one has to worry about large-mouthed creatures. They have a tendency to swallow us tiny people.
Yeah, the only thing we know about that area that it was just rubble on the ground, and we could tell it was a tower that had fallen. No, we could tell it was a building that fell down into the caverns below. So we would have to search it to know for sure. But it sounds very likely it could be what we were looking for. It's interesting though that it was as close to the exit as it was, and nobody has found it yet though. Unless this Dilophosaurus thing broke open the sewer area and gave access to it. That may be a possibility.
Now, the tower, supposedly, according to my great-grandfather, was home to a wizard who loved to keep exotic beasts.
Interesting.
Huge dinosaur type beast.
It's entirely possible.
Okay.
I mean, it could have been originated from there, then broke through, went into the sewer system, and that's where it came from.
I tell you what. If you can bring me back proof that it is the tower, I will make sure that you will be allowed standard access to the guild. I have clout to make sure that happens.
That would be
That
phenomenal.
sounds like a deal.
And didn't I hear you have the backing of Mr. Lakewood?
Yes,
We
we
do.
do.
Yes, I do not think that would be too difficult a proposition.
He's got strings
And-
now.
And what is your name? I'm sorry, I'm Hatala.
What?
Yes, my name is Lord Sinius.
It's nice to meet you.
But you may call me Nero.
What was it?
Nero. Neral. His name is Nero Sinius.
What?
All right. What time is it currently? 11?
It's right around lunchtime, actually.
All right. Well, I think we could stop for some lunch and then we'll try to go find this tower. But well, we need to find a guard first.
No problem. They're hidden on the sides. You can't see them. You're not allowed to be in here. But as you are visitors, there is probably at least 3 of them watching right now. When you get to the door, there's a guard stepping from an alcove where you can see that there is a slot that allows him to see in, but you almost can't see him. Where are we going now?
Lunch, please.
Ah, yes, this way. And Lord Sinius is walking with us, and he's like, Lord Sinius, what are you doing? He goes, you heard the man, it's lunchtime. Let us go to the hall. And the guard's like, yes, sir. And he takes you to the big hall.
Oh, so this is we're
When y'all get to the big hall, basically, the room is divided into nooks where it's like kind of recessed into the ground, and there's big, comfy chairs with a table in front of each, a little bitty table, so that everyone can sit in a big, comfy chair around a circle. And you see there's 3 or 4 of these little alcoves that already have a couple people sitting there drinking and smoking cigars. And imagine like a old English aristocracy where they would be in a smoking room. That kind of thing is this great hall. In fact, in the very back corner, all of y'all can make a glimpse. You can't really see much, but you can see about 7 or so guards in high quality, extremely lustrous plate mail guarding a section back there. And Core, you do notice that they are all wearing Kingsman emblems.
Okay. Very interesting.
Sinius looks over, kind of makes a and goes and sits down at a section of tables.
Oh, do you know what was over there, sir?
Oh, that's the king. He comes by occasionally.
We heard he had honorary membership.
But it really wouldn't matter. He goes pretty much wherever he pleases in the town.
Ah,
He's
is
not
the
a
king.
bad king. He's just a... How do I put it without being treasonous? He's a bit of a putz. Not bad, just effective either. He's not done anything wrong. He's got good advisors, I can say that much. I trust the people he talks to more than I trust him.
as long as there's nothing horrible happening.
About the only thing I actually do like about him is he's very much he's very much afraid of sickness. So as soon as they heard about this plague, he shut down everything.
I mean, in some ways that might be a good thing, but as well, I'm not sure there's much ways to prevent this particular plague as it is.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's been pretty bad here. I mean, the first 5 or 10 people that really came down with it, they were kind of harsh with them before they figured out all it took was isolation. I believe there was a couple executions just to make sure that the city stayed safe. And then a cleric caught it. And that's when they found out it was worse than anyone could imagine.
Ah, yes, cleric.
The rumor is he no longer has the ability to talk to his deity anymore.
Who is the deity of this cleric?
I don't know. I don't even know who the cleric was. It's just that's one of the rumors going around. He was one of the first people that caught it, and that's when they realized they only had to isolate them. Magic couldn't heal it, and after he got it, when he finally recovered, he was no longer capable of contacting his god to draw upon the powers. Supposedly, he's still being sequestered. And so they bring out food, and it's immensely quality food. I mean, it's just like amazing.
All right. I utilize every courtly grace and manner that I have to appropriately eat.
All right. Y'all have sat through your dinner, your lunch, and y'all are all fairly stuffed. Basically, as much food as you wanted to eat. Within reason, of course.
Ugh.
Now, did y'all mean it that you're actually going to go try to confirm this place?
It's a place of interest of ours as well, so I think that it would be beneficial for us to check this out for all parties involved.
That's a wonderful thing. I wait to hear from you.
Fantastic.
All right, so what do I do now? Y'all are outside the guild, unceremoniously dumped, basically.
I would like to try to track down Captain Ladisar.
Okay, your best bet to find the captain is to probably try the guardsman's quarters. You go to the guardsman quarters and you find the lieutenant from the night before still on duty.
Ah, good
Or should I
evening.
say, on duty again.
Good evening. Good evening. We have a new assignment from Lord Cineas, and we need access back to those tunnels we came out of this morning.
Lord Cineas?
Yes.
Well, that's a name that not many know, so I'm not going to even question you on that one. I heard y'all got into the guild, and that's impressive enough. And of course you had to go talk to him, because he rarely leaves.
Yes. Do you know where?
Let me get the captain.
Thank you.
A few minutes later, the captain comes in. Yes, oh, hello.
Jay. We need to get back into that that storm drain.
And he looks at the lieutenant, and the lieutenant's like, let him in. And then stand guard and wait. So the captain's like, yes, sir. And he leads y'all back to where y'all came in.
Alrighty. Is it? How late is it? All right. With the location that we're thinking of, how long do we? Are we thinking that it's going to take to get there?
Based on your previous night's travel, your guess is it's probably going to take about half an hour to get to it.
Okay, so we should be back today. Hopefully.
We did in that location. We traveled to the tree last time,
Mm-hmm.
just as a reminder.
Basically, it's 1 o'clock when you get to the grate and on the inside of the sewer.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, we'll let the guard
You
know.
retrace your path.
Yep, sure do.
All right, you're back to where you found the rubble.
Investigation.
All right, dwarf, want to do your stone cunning?
What do you want me to actually roll for that?
I think it's just perception, isn't it?
I believe it's perception, and you just get a +2 to it for stone cunning for being a dwarf.
Thought so. Sure. And a roll. Well, wasn't great. Sorry, guys.
Better than most of mine tonight.
It's a 24.
I added my circumstance bonus in.
Oh, Never mind.
Sorry. Keep us honest.
No, that's good.
Okay. You can tell that this is part of an outer wall, and based on the stonework you're seeing, this is basically the midsection of an outer wall, but you can see pieces of crenellation have rained down. So the outer wall has collapsed over what used to be a hole into it.
Okay.
Your guess is when the beastie made its way out, it made an unstable opening. But enough rubble has fallen in that it's completely blocked currently.
I mean, do we want to take the time to try and clear it, or is it worth it? What do y'all think?
Is that where we're needing to go? Is this the access point, or is this just? I mean, I'm not getting a visual here.
Dead ends. The passage dead ends into a section of rubble, which he can identify as the outer wall of a compound.
Oh well, then yeah, we got to get through that. I
The
would think.
weathering indicates that it was in rain, so this was on the surface at some point. Now remember, you also have the ability to shape ancient stone.
Right, right. And this is ancient stone, correct?
But you do have the rod that they use to do ancient stone. But it's you're using the rod of earth. Remember, the other rods had 3 buttons. This rod only has 1 button. And the last time you did it, it made a massive discharge and just smashed a hole straight through. But you know that this is the one they use to make all their work. So it obviously has some other functionality that you don't understand how to use yet.
Okay.
So how do you want to try to use it?
I mean,
Remember,
we've been-
when you push the button without doing anything special, it fired off once and then was dead for the day.
Okay.
And you don't believe that they used it by using it once a day.
I will try and focus my elemental energy into it as I press the button.
All right, so use your creation. And what are you trying to make?
I want to try and make an archway. It's simple enough as structure, and
Okay.
just push through and shape it into an arch.
You focus your power and create a small archway that goes in about 3 feet.
Okay. Do I see anything on the other side?
No, it's still stone.
Still stone.
The
Yeah.
archway is crude but serviceable.
Okay. Can I? I'm gonna try and do it again, even though I know that last time there was 1 charge. See if it will respond to it as well.
Make a check. And what are you trying to create?
Same, just match the archway size and just hopefully make it go further.
Okay. Another arch appears, and it's another 3 feet in. This one is much higher quality.
Okay. Since it's not punched through, I'm gonna try it once again.
Make a tunnel.
All right. This time, you make a hole, but you don't manage to construct anything inside of it.
Okay. Can I? Does it break through to the other side yet?
It does not.
Okay. I'm gonna say, Akar, I'm sorry. This is kind of new to me. I need you to shut up. I'm gonna do it again.
I start rubbing his shoulders like, you got this, man. You got this. Relax.
So what?
Still
Make an
making.
arch. Yeah. In that same space to try and make an arch all the way through.
Okay. Now, when you're making an arch, what you're making is a small tunnel with an arch in the middle of it.
Okay.
You're literally making an arch.
Gotcha. So
And
yeah.
this work, it doesn't destroy, it actually reshapes all the stone in there.
Okay. That makes sense.
And now you have a third arch with a gap between 2 of the arches, and you have broken through into an area on the inside. and the rod is starting to get hot.
All right. I'm going to gingerly put that back in my pockets and see if I can see anything on the other side with my dark vision before trying to light everything up.
There is a glow inside already.
Can I tell what the glow is coming from?
Luminescent mushrooms.
I would like to know if they are edible or not.
They are very similar to the ones you found in the underneath city.
Okay.
Not tasty, but sufficiently edible.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and cast dancing lights so that we've got some light in the room.
Okay. You are looking at I guess the best way to describe it is it would almost be a courtyard, except for the large slabs of earth overhead. Basically, it looks like several large hunks of stone have fallen over and made a roof. And there's bits of dirt and rubble falling through. Every now and then, like little tinkles of. And you can see that there are claw marks inside on the stone.
Can I tell from the claw marks which direction whatever that is seems to be moving? Or is it just all around?
It looks like the claws were randomly hitting in all the stones. But it's almost like it was testing all the stones individually.
Oh, okay.
Trying to find something it could dig through.
Mm-hmm. Does this look like the same size as the
Dude, you have them
dinosaur
in your
that we fought?
pocket.
Yeah, I'll take the claw out, and see if it lines up with
Claws
the.
you have are small enough to fit completely inside the marks on the rocks.
Like
boy.
they would have caused the marks, or
Like they're about
not.
half the size of what caused the marks.
Okay. I think that was not the mama. We've got some other dinosaur in here.
And the configuration of the markings is a different number of digits than the gator had.
I'm gonna look around for signs of movement and or recent activity in the cave other than the claw marks.
You do not see anything other than in one corner of the room, there is a section of collapsed rock and dirt that is newer than the rest of this room. And in the back of the room itself is it looks like a doorway.
I'm gonna go and inspect the doorway a little bit closer and see if it seems like it was naturally made or man-made.
It looks like a stone arch with a wooden door in it that has been hit by something very large, and you can tell there's bits of stone behind it.
Trying to get out or in?
Impossible to tell.
Okay. But there's
Something hard enough that the entire archway that it's made of shifted.
okay.
Based on your guess, it probably was hit and moved inward about 6 inches. All the stonework of the door.
That's a little scary. Can I see if this is a pull door instead of a push door, and see if the creature we're dealing with is intelligent or not?
It's hard to tell because whatever was part of the mechanism for opening the door has been squashed into paste.
Clever girl.
Something hit it so hard that it literally folded anything on the door inward.
Gotcha. Are there any other holes or anything else like in the ceiling?
Just that corner area with fresh rocks.
I'd like to go and take a closer look over there.
All right. Make another stone cunning check.
Righty then. Oh, no. I get a +2 on that, correct?
Yes.
Just making sure that's still applied. Jeez.
All right. All you can tell is this rock. Something broke through from underneath, and then when it came out, it was so large it caused more of the rocks from above to fall in and fill that hollow.
Okay. So that would imply that there's space underneath this place for something this large to be living in regularly, or a tunnel that it's going through.
This chamber is not big enough for anything to live a life.
Right.
But it looks like something broke out from underneath, was stuck in here for a while until it busted into the sewer.
Okay. So the question is, do we want to go see where it came from? Or just be aware of where we are and that there's a thing that's like twice as big as the crocodile that we killed lurking around somewhere.
Well, the thing is, you know the thing that broke up came from underneath, not from in here. So whatever was twice as big has already left this room.
But has gone back into the sewers, though, not back from where it originally came from. Correct?
It didn't go back into the sewers, it made it into the sewer.
Ah, I got you.
It didn't come from the sewer into here, it came from underneath and into the sewer.
So possibly out of the Underdark and into the sewer.
Possibly.
Okay.
There's no telling what caused this place to sink and what stopped it from sinking.
Well, do we want to go deeper, gentlemen, or do we want to? What do we
I mean,
want to do?
Our task is to bring proof that this is the tower of Obira.
Obelita.
Obelita.
Looking at the walls, can I tell if this is? Does it look like this would be a structure for a tower, or is it like an interior room? Can I tell
You
from?
would have to actually see a side section to tell. Like basically, when it's a tower, the blocks on the bottom are thicker than the ones on the top, so you'd have to see a small, perceptible decrease in size to determine that.
So where the door frame was pushed back, I'm gonna go over and look at that and see if the stones at the bottom, or that would be an interior wall, so it wouldn't really matter, would it?
No, that's an exterior wall.
Oh, it is? Okay. I'd like to go and look at that section of wall that.
Because the walls are several feet thick at the base,
Okay.
so you'd have to
Oh,
remove the door to determine the cross section.
Gotcha. Hatala, you want to see if you can help me remove this door? Doesn't look like any of the engineering pieces and stuff are left, so if we can't get it, we always get Winky to smash it down.
Are you trying to rely on my strength on this?
No, I'm hoping that you can finagle some way to get it disconnected from its mechanical pieces.
Alright. I'll take a engineering look at it then.
All right, make a check. All right, you can determine that the ceiling has collapsed in on this door, and it is embedded in the stonework that it's supposed to open in and out of. The only way to get this door to ever open is to remove the stonework containing it.
I will explain that to them.
I am going to, while he's explaining it to us, pull a pipe out of my pocket and light it up and see if there's any airflow in the room.
Okay, you do not find any air.
No airflow? So
No.
it's just kind of sitting in the room. Okay. Never mind. Don't want to die from smoke inhalation, but we could burn a wooden door.
But based on Tala's findings, there's stone surrounding this door currently.
Your rod got some more action left in it?
Honestly, I just didn't want to disturb the rock any more than we had to, just in case it caused something to be unstable. But I
Well,
could
when
do.
you use that, it creates ancient stonework around it, so
Well, it is
It's
hot. I could
strengthening
give
it,
it like,
right?
one more time, I guess, and see.
We have Core's endless decanter. We can cool it off with some water.
That's back
I
with
don't-
Debbie. We,
don't know.
We
Yeah,
needed
Debbie has that.
We needed the password to
A
basically
command word.
the command word.
Oh yeah, to stop it. Yeah.
Well, I guess I can try one last time. How big is this door frame?
It's a human-sized door.
How and what's the limitation on size of the rod?
You don't know. The first time you used it, you accidentally made a hole like 30, 40 feet deep.
Okay, I have a hard time keeping up with details. Thank you. I'm going to attempt to make an arch that is a foot wider than the door that I can see, hoping that the door will just fall out of the space and allow
Alright.
us to walk by.
Make a check.
Hey guys, welcome to Minecraft, and I made this diamond. And I'm gonna
Oh,
be done in this diamond.
bounced on the 18 twice.
All right, you managed to successfully remove about a foot of stone in all directions, and you can hear it starting to groan.
Okay. I'm gonna say everybody move back, and I'm gonna step like just to the edge of the door and see if I can get my hands on it to try to pull it towards us to make it fall inwards.
No, the stone is groaning.
Oh,
You just removed material. You didn't make anything.
gotcha. All right. Well, then I will hastily try and cast again and see if I can make the archway.
I went on a murdering spree for chicken. Obviously.
You can't roll for anything tonight.
Garbage this evening.
Someone started off with a nat 20, and that was it.
That was Payton.
That was me. I used all my luck.
I don't think I've thrown anything above a 7.
I've been in right that range the whole time too.
Oh. Let's see.
We'll say.
You can ask Kylie high or low. See how that goes.
Hey, it's better than mine last week.
Yeah, that's true.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's Charles.
You remember something you didn't realize you knew. That you have a pool of points that you can spend to automatically succeed at checks.
Let's do that then.
So you automatically succeeded that check, and it is larger than you intended because you accidentally removed material. So
Right.
you've created a arch that's about 2 feet larger than the door, and the
Larger.
door is just sitting there in the air with nothing around it because it was driven into the ground as well.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna try and see if I can squeeze by the outside of the door.
Are there any
2 feet
markings?
direction larger. It's not
Are there any?
squeak-
Oh,
You can
Are they?
walk past it.
Are there any markings on the door?
If there were, you really can't see any of them. Anything that was on the outside of the door was smashed beyond belief. But the door itself is still structurally sound.
it's a
It
big
was
door.
hit hard enough to be embedded in stone,
Yeah.
and the wood is not broken.
Can I take a closer look at this wood and see if it's something that I might have come across in the past?
My sister joined the game.
Okay? Make a nature check.
Day 6.
It's very similar to the ironwood that Cora found.
Day. I'm just gonna go right now.
And that requires special tools to work, correct?
It's super hard.
Do we want to take a look at the outside of the door and see if it's got any markings on it?
You mean the inside?
It's all about perspective.
Oh,
We're on
is
the
it?
other side of the door.
The perspective
like-
earlier
would you
was
like to
the
look at the other
outside
side of the door?
was not had nothing on it. So
So you
just
walk past the door to look at the other side of it?
Yes.
Okay, the other side of it has claw marks in it about human-sized.
About human size.
oh, that's sad.
Interesting.
something was strong enough to put its fingers through that side of the door, somewhat.
My sister joined it. Oh my god. Day 6.
So human-sized claw marks, but it had to be strong enough to put claw marks into an ironwood.
Basically, it has to be strong enough to put claws in iron.
Yeah.
And then we went to sleep.
Are all the claw marks the same size? Like they look like they were done by the same creature?
Correct.
Okay.
It looks like some creature tried to scramble through the door but couldn't get all the way through from the bottom.
On my house.
I'll look around and make sure there's not like some skeletal remains of something
And
that
it was so
died
hard.
here a while back.
I gave up for it in a while. But I also
Okay.
farm needed care.
You're looking at a room now, and you can see the cross section of the wall.
I will go ahead and take a look at the wall then.
All right. You examine the stonework, and you can perceive with your dwarven eyes that the base of the wall is probably about 2 inches wider than the topmost part of the arch you've made.
Okay, so we are in some sort of tower.
This is a tower, and everything perceptibly is rounded.
Okay.
So it's a round tower. And based on the arch, your guess is that this tower probably was anywhere from 40 to 100 feet tall. If it was a dwarven work, it was easily 100 feet tall. If it was a human work, it may only be 40.
Gotcha. Can I tell that by the arc of the
By
wall?
how much it goes down.
Okay. Can I tell what the circumference of the tower would be looking at a section of wall?
No, your stone cunning was not.
Okay. So we know that this is the a tower. So now we just need to find a way to
It was really hard.
identify that it's definitely
But I
the
kept
tower
on
we're looking
going.
for. I don't know. What do you think? I mean,
mean,
anybody else have
Did you
any
see,
opinion?
like
We
a,
didn't- we
a
didn't
mailbox
only
with its
come
name
here-
on it?
Yeah, we didn't only come here for the identifying of this tower. We are still trying to find relics of the ancients and Kaminoans, see if we can find other Titan pieces, things like that. So I mean, there's still
any
that.
information also on the ancients is helpful.
But I'm
You'll have to
gonna
remember
be.
that Need Up
I wanna-
is like single issue focused.
That's why I brought
Yeah.
up other stuff. But something I want to be. I'm gonna try and be vigilant in looking for traps, particularly of magical orientation, as this was a wizard's tower. So
Eve, have you been able to detect any magic around still?
And it's continuing.
I can try. I'll look around with detect magic.
Farm, I guess, and
Okay.
I'm gonna like make more chickens. Then why are you in it,
Just roll a straight d20. Since there's no roll for detect magic. I really need to make it a skill for you.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. You are definitely detecting magic. It's hard to identify exactly where the magic is coming from. Like, there's not a single, like, this item in the corner is magical. You're detecting a trace amount of magic throughout the entire structure we're in. The door itself seems to have been enchanted at some point, and your guess is it may have been magically locked so that a wizard could open and close it without dealing with a real lock. But whatever broke the door totally disrupted that spell. So the door no longer has that lock on it. And it is obvious by the amount of magics leaking in the area that magic was used heavily within these walls.
I will share that information.
Although you're gonna hold that focus to keep analyzing.
Yeah.
The largest amount of magic you're detecting is in the realm of divinancy.
Okay.
So whoever was here was trying to ascertain the future, or the past, or another. And that's pretty much all you can tell. If you hold it any longer, it's actually going to start hurting from the amount of magic in the area.
Do we see like a way up the tower?
Everyone who wants to look, make a perception check. Not 4.
He likes doing those ones on perceptions.
He rolled a 1 and still got the same thing I got.
All right, so Atala and Eve, you notice that the room you're looking into probably at one point in time was the equivalent of a foyer where someone would come in, put down all their belongings, clean themselves off, get the dust and dirt off them from their travels, and then go inside the deeper areas. You can see that there are several doors exiting this room, and there used to be some furniture, but almost all the furniture has been pulverized into debris. And Atala, you can tell that whatever was in here doing this damage looks like it may have come from one of the doors and went back inside based on the damage to the doors themselves.
All right, I'll let everybody know. Creature looks like it may be, if it's still alive, maybe inside there.
Okay, we have an option here. It's 9:30, and y'all made it into the tower, and if y'all plan to explore the tower, we might want to wait and start exploration next week.
I think that's fine.
I'm good with
All right.
that.
Good with that.
It's a good stopping point.
Yes. I'll try to develop a map for everything and get everything sorted out nicer by next week.
Sweet.
All right, guys and gals, say farewell to the stream.
Bye bye, stream. We have accents now.
Yes. Okay.